Hello guys, what is going on? I am Nozda and welcome back to another manga reviews video. Now if you didn't catch my last video, then I will explain to you how this video works. Basically, I am reviewing today 3 different manga titles. I'm reviewing My Hero Academia, Haikyuu, and also My Hero Academia Vigilantes. The Vigilantes section is just going to be my first impressions because I just recently picked up volume 1 and I started reading it. I just want to talk about that. That'll be at the end of the video. But if you want to go to a specific chapter, then the timestamps will be in the description below. But yeah, My Hero Academia chapter 195. I'm not terribly excited for another arc like this, where it's just students beating up other students, you know? Especially obviously I get that this is a battle manga, and I understand there's going to be a lot of fighting, but right now I'm really struggling with the art. It took me a long time to get used to the art that was going on in the Endeavor arc, but it seems to have changed slightly again. Like, it seems to have gotten better, which has made it harder for me to understand what's going on. I have no idea whether other people are having this problem. I haven't looked it up or anything like that. I haven't checked the Reddit to see if anybody had problems with some parts of this chapter. But when they were in the battle zone, when they were in like the factory shipyard sort of zone, I really struggled to pinpoint characters and environment, like separate them. So I'm not excited for what's gonna come, but I did get used to it in the Endeavor arc, so I expect I'll get used to it here. It's just a little grievance that I had, which makes me not very excited for the arc to come. Moving on to Hitoshi, which is by far the most interesting thing in My Hero Academia at this moment in time. He is really, well, specifically, he's really interesting in how he's dealing with people in the class, because I would have thought they would have tried to be like overly nice and overly like calm and like really explain what he's about. As his main issue with his quirk, going back ages now to when he was first introduced, the main issue with his quirk was how people portrayed him and how people sort of thought about him. Like, oh, and it must be evil, or it must have evil intentions because of how easy he can manipulate people with his quirk. But I guess he must have gone over that off page, you know. I would have really liked to see like a backstory couple of chapters, even if it's just one chapter, just showing how he got over that sort of hurdle, because that was a big hurdle for him, and it was really depressing thinking about it. Like, this guy wants to be a hero, but just because of his quirk, people instantly see him as like a villain, and like, oh, he's gonna go bad if you know, and no one wants to be his friends and stuff like that. So I just would have liked to see how he got past that and how he just decided not to give a shit, you know? I mean, there was aspects of that in the sports festival, how he manipulated people like with no remorse when it came to like the capture the flag style game. You know, like I can't remember his name. Sorry, the guy with the tail. I still can't remember his name. I don't know why. And how he was like affected by it afterwards, and it just seemed like Hitoshi didn't really care on the outside, which might lend to the theory that it really does care. He just needs this outer shell to sort of protect himself. I don't know. Hitoshi's such an interesting character with so many dimensions. That's why I love talking about him so much. Moving on to his mask, it seems like what it does is it takes the voice or like the pitch or the frequency of someone, and then that can be manipulated into activating his quirk. Like, maybe all he has to do is say something like a question or just anything, and then he'll use the mask to manipulate the words into making sense or whatever. I don't know if the words have to make sense to the response, because I don't know whether like they have to say anything at all, or whether it has to like work in the conversation in order for him to be able to brainwash them. But the mask obviously does something with their voice without him having to prompt them or provoke them first, which is kind of insane. But then again, if we think about his quirk and we think about everyone else's quirk, most people's quirks are treated like a muscle. Like, if you work them, and if you work them over and over again, strain them and let them grow back, they'll grow back stronger and bigger. Whilst his really can. He's already at his like maximum potential from birth, you know what I mean? So artificial augmentation seems to be the most logical way to go, which makes sense, but it is different as well, so that's nice. I mean, we've seen it before with Deku and stuff like that, but that's only partly. That's just sort of aid him. whilst this seems to be like kind of a replacement upgrade for a quirk. So yeah, overall not a bad chapter, but like I said, I'm not overly fond of this arc. Also because it's a very similar styled arc to, especially early My Hero Academia. I mean, just considering we got two very unique arcs in the Culture Festival, crossed with like the gentle stuff, and then also the Endeavor arc being really, really intense and so personal and stuff like that. We got those back to back, and then to see them revert back to this, I mean, obviously it could be very different because of the introduction of Hitoshi and stuff like that. I hope they do skip over the fights that he's not in, or like they do like a couple of chapters, like 2 chapters just showing what the results of the fights, and maybe something interesting like Todoroki, maybe having a new element to him because of what happened in the Endeavor arc, you know, just stuff like that. That would be interesting, but I wouldn't like them to dwell on it too long. Thinking about it now, I would like to see some more focus on the Todoroki character, just because of what happened in the last arc. Hopefully it's not completely ignored for a while, and hopefully we get into it pretty soon. But I feel like this arc is also to do some leveling up, and also to see what happened with Deku, and maybe he's getting a power up, because it seems like now, after the dream, my theory is anyway, that he can steadily use 20%, which is very, very, very like cool. I'm excited to see that as well. But yeah, so that is the chapter review for My Hero Academia chapter 195. Moving on to Haikyuu 315. This chapter was interesting because it was disguised as a Hinata growth chapter. But what it was the main aim of it was to grow Kageyama, and it was very much a Kageyama chapter, and to grow him as a setter and as a person. I'm only mentioning this, I mean, like, it's pretty obvious, but I'm only mentioning this because the last couple of chapters was so focused on the setter position and focused on Kageyama as a setter. And I also enjoy that this is a Kageyama growth moment and not a Hinata one. It's stressed very much in that one panel where it focuses on Kageyama. And I'm very excited that that was the focus, because this match has focused on Hinata growing defensively. And in this chapter, even he did a dig, even so it like he's still focusing on his defensive capabilities and his defensive growth, but then just having just one chapter focus on a little growth in his attack capability would just seem completely off and completely offbeat. It wouldn't make sense. So I'm glad that even though Hinata can now do these sets and can now do these spikes, it was still primarily a Kageyama growth moment. Finally. I know this is a short review, especially compared to the My Hero Academia review, but not as much stuff happened in this one. My dreams have come true, finally. If you didn't watch my, I think it was chapter 312 discussion video, I did a separate discussion video after the review because I had some thoughts. Actually got quite a lot of views, to be honest, but I said that my main theory was that this fatigue element, like fatigue was the main point of the match. Once the second set started, fatigue was mentioned every single chapter, like them getting tired, especially when it comes to Kenma and stuff like that. So I was very excited to see new characters, new players, especially potentially a new setter, because there was even mention of it in a recent chapter where they were like, should we take Kenma off? And then they were like, nah, let's wait a second, you know what I mean? Because Kenma was being focused on and being made to make these plays, which he wouldn't usually make, and he'll make him move, and because he's not really physically fit, we get super fatigued. And I was excited to see a new setter, but we didn't get a new setter. All we got is a new blocker, which is very, very good, because like I say, it made my dreams come true. In the fact that finally fatigue, even though it wasn't like a main factor in this decision making, at least my dreams came true in terms of we get to see a new player in Nakoma finally. We rarely ever get to see a new player when it comes to Nakoma, and I'm excited to see what this player can do, because now what we got is we got potential for backstory, and backstory is the best part about Haikyuu because the character development is so amazing, and we just haven't had it. All we've had is matches, and there's chapter after chapter of just match and match and match, and set and point and stuff like that, and we've not got backstory, which is like is so completely unheard of when it comes to Haikyuu, and that's why this match has been going so quickly. So I'm glad to see it slow down a bit, and maybe we'll get some backstory with this character. I'm not sure whether we will or not yet, but I'm excited to see if we can. That would be nice. I don't know how long he's going to be on for. I might be overreacting. I'm not too sure. So yeah, the best part of this chapter for me was definitely the reveal at the end of the chapter. It left me very excited for what's to come. So, moving on to My Hero Academia Vigilantes. If you're not overly familiar with what it is, it's a story by Hideyuki Furuhashi, and the art is by Betancourt. Hasn't seemed like a very Japanese name. So, none of the actual words or art is done by Hirokoshi. None of it. So, you know, it is technically canon because Hirokoshi said it was canon, but then again, he is saying that the movie is canon. He's saying that everything basically is canon, even though he only writes the main series. The original concept is by him, so maybe the story outline from beginning to end, or at least the start of the story, or like the outline, is by him. But minutiae and stuff like that of the story, and maybe facts that are thrown in, might not be by him. So I don't know whether we can take any facts or historical events that might be mentioned in Vigilantes seriously. Because this is a monthly series as well, this volume, which is a normal size volume, only covers 5 chapters. The chapters are a bit longer. They're not like, I don't think they're like 40 pages like Attack on Titan, but they are relatively long. I'll actually check that now. Oh, they sort of vary drastically actually. So the first chapter is 50 pages. The second chapter is 46, and then it's 36, and then it's 36 again. Yeah, so it seems like the chapter lengths are going to be 36 pages per chapter. It's just because the first 2 chapters are like, you know, the first 2 chapters are going to be a bit longer. But yeah, so we get introduced to 3 characters in the beginning, the 3 main protagonists. We also get a lot of cameos, by the way. We do actually see just All Might just fall down from the sky at some point. We just get to see him, which is really interesting. But we get these 2 guys here that are in color. These are the heroes from My Hero Academia. And we also get this girl here, which is sort of the fan servicey type girl. She's an actual idol as well. So, you know, that's the thing if you like that sort of stuff. I'm not particularly into that. Yeah, and it's just like scientifically really difficult to not like any of these characters. The main character even wears like a All Might hoodie. He's very like he wants to be a hero. He's kind of just Deku-esque, honestly. He does have a quirk, which is a very weird quirk. Like he can slide along the floor as long as he has, and he can do it faster than he can do it almost as fast as running. It's like he described it as like it's just faster than speed walking or something like that. I don't know. It's very weird. So he can slide along the floor as long as he has 3 points of destination in mind. It's such a weird quirk. And yeah, the first chapter is just bog standard. We get some bullies. He overcomes the bullies. You know, there's not really too much going on there in terms of actual meaty story. I have only read a chapter and a half when it comes to like first impressions. You know, I will probably not talk about this again in terms like just in case you wonder like if it's going to appear on the channel again. I'm probably not going to talk about this again until I have fully caught up, and then I'll probably do monthly chapter reviews, so you'll see it once a month in this series, like the manga review series. So if you're interested in that, then make sure to like leave a like and stuff like that, because I'm definitely excited to catch up on this. It just seems very standard story right now. Like I said, I've only read the first chapter and a half, so you know, I'm not really in a position to make a full first impressions yet. I just wanted to talk about something I was reading, to be honest with you. I've got a couple things on my shelf that I recently picked up. Like I picked up 2 issues of Black Clover as well. So I'm very excited to dig into that. And yeah, overall that's kind of it. I've also got 13 volumes of Dead Man Wonderland, which I should probably get into. and review on the channel as well. I bought all 13, not issues, sorry, all 13 volumes, and I just haven't read any of them yet. Apparently it's pretty good. Anyway, I've rambled on way too much during this video, so now I'm just going to get into a couple of plugs, and that's going to be it. So yeah, my Patreon, in which you can support me writing my novel, is in the description below. Also, I am an affiliate for Creative Attribute, which make their own free comics. And if you choose to subscribe to their service, which you have to pay for, but you get a bunch of added benefits, and you use the code NOSDA at checkout, you will support the channel. So I'd appreciate it if you at least look at their free comics, because it's free, why not, and they're really good. So yeah, my other links like Twitter and Twitch are in the description as well. And yeah, that's going to be it for now, guys. So if you guys are watching, hopefully enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and all that stuff I've been done. Hopefully, I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.